You know that green, velvety carpet you see on forest floors and damp rocks? Well, that's them, bryophytes. This group includes things like mosses and liverworts. And today, we're going to dive into why these seemingly simple plants are actually some of the most important on the entire planet.
So first things first, what's with that nickname, amphibians of the plant kingdom? It's actually a perfect fit. Think about it, they represent that huge first step for plants moving out of the water and onto land. They can live in the soil, absolutely, but for the most important part of their lives, reproduction, they have to have water.
Okay, so if they're the plant world's amphibians, what are we actually looking at? Well, their structure is pretty simple, but it's also incredibly effective. Let's get a closer look at their main plant body, which is called the gametophyte.
Now, what's really wild is that the main plant you actually see is the haploid gametophyte. That just means it has a single set of chromosomes. Its body is what we call thallus-like, which is basically a simple structure that isn't really divided up into true roots, stems, or leaves like you might expect. Instead of roots, it uses these tiny little filaments called rhizoids just to hang on tight.
And this simple body plan is totally connected to that need for water we keep talking about. Their entire strategy for making more of themselves is built around it.
Bryophytes have these specialized multicellular sex organs. You've got the male part, the antheridium, which produces sperm called antherozoids, and get this, they have two little tails, or flagella, to help them swim. Then there's the female part, this really cool flask-shaped organ called the archegonium, which holds a single egg, just waiting.
And this is where it all comes together. Let's just walk through it. So step 1, those antherozoids are released and they literally have to swim through a film of water to get to the egg. Step 2, fertilization happens and you get a diploid zygote. Now this zygote grows into a totally different structure called the sporophyte. And this is crucial. Look at step 4. The sporophyte stays attached to the parent gametophyte its whole life, getting all its nutrients from it. Finally, the sporophyte produces haploid spores which get released and, if they're lucky, they grow into a brand new gametophyte, starting this beautiful water-dependent dance of life all over again.
Okay, now that we've wrapped our heads around that fascinating life cycle, let's meet the two major players in the bryophyte world, the liverworts and the mosses. So how can you actually tell them apart?
Well, liverworts often have a flat, kind of ribbon-like body. They can also reproduce asexually using these awesome little buds called gemma. You can think of them as tiny clones that just pop off to start a whole new plant. Mosses are a little different. Their gametophyte actually has two stages. It starts as this creepy, thread-like stage called a protonema before it develops into that leafy form we all recognize. Their sporophyte is also a bit more complex, with a more advanced system for getting its spores out into the world.
You've probably seen common mosses like Funaria and Polytrichum on hikes, but I want you to pay special attention to that last one, Sphagnum, because it's a real economic and ecological superstar, as we're about to see.
You might be tempted to just dismiss them as small, insignificant little plants, but their role in our ecosystems is, well, it's absolutely massive. So why do they matter so much?
They are true pioneers. Along with lichens, they are the very first forms of life to grab a foothold on barren rock. They actually break it down chemically and create that first precious layer of soil. They literally build the foundation for entire ecosystems to follow. Plus, their dense mats act like a living shield, soaking up the impact of rain and preventing all that new soil from just washing away.
And believe it or not, they're pretty important economically. Remember sphagnum moss? This is where it really shines. Over time, it forms peat, which has been used as fuel for centuries. And because it can hold an incredible amount of water, it's used by gardeners and nurseries as the perfect packing material to keep live plants moist while they're being shipped.
So really the key takeaway here is their foundational role. They were the very first plants to truly conquer the land, weathering down rock, creating soil, and paving the way for every forest, field, and flower that came after them. It leaves us with a pretty deep question, doesn't it? What would our world even look like if these tiny pioneers had never existed? It's something to think about the next time you see a patch of moss.